So good morning and thanks for coming to hang out with me in the garden. I am going to take a look at my carrots because last week's video I gave a peek and it looked like they were ready on the top, but the bottoms of the carrots weren't quite developed enough. So let's go take a look and see if any more are ready. All right, so my carrots, they're really nice and healthy looking, but as I was watering the other day, this is what I noticed. So we are going to grab a hold of this one. And they say that once the tops start popping out and then also the stalks next to the top of the carrot get thicker, they're usually ready to harvest. And I have found that to be true over the years. So I always just push down slightly and then pull up. And look at that beautiful carrot. There is still a little room to grow on the bottom, but overall, really happy with that. This is the Imperator variety. I love to grow these because these are raised beds that I made out of pallets, or a pallet shelf, I should say. It was something that was displayed at a big box store. My daughter used to work there and they just trashed them afterwards. So I just reconfigured them into some raised beds. And it allows, that one's not quite as good, but it allows for a lot of depth when I'm growing my carrots. And I love to grow potatoes in them as well. Let's see if we have any more here. Okay, I looked through all my beds and I have one more that's potential. It wasn't as high up out of the ground as the rest. And it's not quite as thick around on this part as I would like. So I am just going to let them sit probably for another week and see what happens. But this spring batch of carrots, these are just for fresh eating. And the fall batch that I do, if I need to can any more, that's when I'll can some. So I'm going to get the tops snipped off these and we'll give them to the chickens. And we are very much anticipating snacks this morning, aren't we, ladies? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm doing this one-handed, so hang on a second. Now this is always challenging because I have bird netting over the top of my chickens because because our vulture pressure is just insane here. So I tried to find a little hole and I just shove them down through. I could go open the door to their coop, but I'm in the garden, so I didn't want to walk around. There we go. That'll keep them busy for a little bit. Somebody always has to have something better than the one they're working on. And we fight over it too, just like kids. So now we got done with the sugar snap peas. We are on to the English peas. And I'm just going to show you here. So on an English pea, you don't want them to be flat like this or even semi-flat. You can see these are starting to fill out. But if you give them a little pinch, they're firm. You don't want them bulging because that's kind of when the peas start to get hard. But if you do it when they're just firm, let me peel it, if I can peel it here. Get this popped open for you. You can see the peas in there are beautiful. They're perfect size, perfect for granddaughter snacking or getting frozen or put into jars. And not to mention, they're delicious. So in coming out here this morning and looking at my carrots, I don't know if you can see right here and then on this stem here, the sun's just coming up so it might be kind of hard, but do you see that reddish tone to the leaves? That can signal a phosphorus deficiency, and so I am going to go ahead and mix up some of this Vine Vitality, which it does stink by the way, but it is a good source of phosphorus. And it's 2 ounces per gallon, and it is a nice icky brown color that matches its smell. Kind of disgusting, but it works. And I'm also going to put down this high yield triple superphosphate. You can see that's all that it is, and it's really good for carrots and potatoes. So I'm going to sprinkle that on the top of the beds and then give it a light water in as well. And hopefully that should help kick them out of the leaves getting a little bit of reddish color to them and focus on finishing up my carrots. pick berries in the morning. This is my fan club, and they get some of the older berries or ones that maybe a slug has picked on. But you girls think you need treats this morning? This one right here, this brown one, not the gray one that's very bossy, but this one right here, her name is Curry. And the reason I named her that, she does have a little bit of like curry-ish color on her chest, but she's always curious about everything, and so it was just kind of a play off of curious. Oh, quit being bossy, Missy. But I'm just gonna take all, there's not tons, but my berries are about at the end. Some of these are kind of seedy, some of them are bad, so I'm just gonna throw them to them. They love their snacks. So this morning it's overcast. It's supposed to rain again, but we are going to come down and just kind of take a quick little peek at what some of the things are doing. I don't think we're going to do an absolute full garden tour this morning, but there's just a couple things I wanted to show you. So if you can see all the lovely blue on my blueberries, I really need to get a better system for this, because I found when I came to try to pick the blueberries and I tried to pull the bag off, it would get caught and snagged on the branches, as well as then sometimes it would pull little clusters of the blueberries off. So I'm trying to wait until they develop a little bit further before I take the bag off and pick them. But I'd like to just get an area where I can fence and net the whole thing in eventually. We had a big, wouldn't be say a windstorm, but we had a lot of strong winds come in last night, and you can see it blew my sugar snap peas off of their trellis, which is fine. They're all starting to go to seed. I'm just grabbing the ones that are fat and throwing them to the chickens, and they're loving their snacks. Over here, this is my black cream tomato, and I've got the blooms on them, and then you see right there, I have the started tomatoes, so that's really exciting. And my blue gourd pumpkins are starting to vine, so I will just be focusing on keeping these like tucked up next to, it's not going to cooperate yet, it's not long enough, but just to keep them out of the walkway. And despite my best efforts with the cilantro, this one is doing really well. But if you see here, this one is starting to bolt, as well as this one. And then I noticed this morning when I was out here, this one is starting to bolt. So I'm just going to come and harvest this, and then I probably won't plant any more cilantro until closer to the fall. I can grow beautiful cilantro here in the fall, but I mainly just grow it and dry it, and then I use the dried product in my salsa. And if you can see here, my broccoli heads are starting to form. I did harvest one because I thought it looked like it was going to start trying to open to flower. I probably could have left it, but this one I'm going to leave and see how big it will get before it gets to the point I really need to pick it. And then this right here is my Better Boy tomato, and I have a little cluster of babies growing. They're just so cute. And as we take a walk down to the lower fields, this is my lamb's ear. If you've never had it before, the leaves of it are just so soft and fuzzy. And in old times, medicinal uses, they used to use them as band-aids. But it's blooming out, and I need to cut them off because, as you can see right here, they will spread and make new babies. Now over here, I love the blue and white combination, but I have to be honest, I detest these white daisies. They spread like wildfire. I actually have some coming up in my grass. And then the manzanita bush, look how beautiful it is. Every day it's loaded with bees. My little craspedia, or drumstick flower, or billy balls, whatever you like to call them, they're starting to get bigger, but it actually looks like a deer decided to try them the other night. I'm gonna have to put some more deer deterrent, like maybe right here. You can see down there I have 2 different bags hanging on my cattle panel. But I wanted to come down here and show you the sweet peas. They are just so beautiful. So this is the little creamy white ones. And then as we come over here, we have some kind of lavendery purple. Oh, there's a little bug on it. I hate these bugs. And then we have the pink ones. Ooh, there's a little cluster of them right here. Aren't they so pretty? And they smell as pretty as they look too. And I have this one random deep burgundy color, which is very pretty. I have my volunteer calendula down here because they like to spread by seed very prolifically. And this one is beautiful. Look at the different shades of purple on that one stem. But these are the cantaloupe. I tucked a couple of cucumbers in the middle from a cantaloupe that got pulled out by the deer. And then those are just some gourds. And the panicle hydrangeas, they are starting to open. But if we look down there, this is my variety that blooms on old wood. And so it's starting to put on just loads and loads of blooms. It's so pretty. You can see the corn is starting to get some height, and I like this variety. It is called Obsession Sweet Corn, and it is an 80-day. And so I have already done 6 successions. I'm already done with planting my successions. But I have my sunflowers tucked in here and there with my lavender. And then you can see my yarrow, my whole row of yarrow. It's really beautiful. I need to cut some to dry, but I think I'll do another video on cutting some flowers for drying. Let me know if that's something you'd like to see. If you'd put that down in the comments below, that'd be great. But down here in my phase 1, that has all of my black weed mat, I just wanted to show you. They kind of close up at night, so, and then when it gets cool, so they are not open at the moment, but they are so pretty. I have blooms going on my strawflower, and my honeywort is starting to bloom. I have snapdragon starting to go. Now, I do cut these for cut flower bouquets before they open like this, because once they do, thrips, which some people call them the little like black pencil bugs, or those little tiny black bugs, they love to get in my snapdragons. So these ones I'll probably just cut and use for my own use until I get enough flowers going here to get bouquets. But in snipping, that I went over in a previous video, I showed you how I took the tops out, the main central stem of a snapdragon, so that the side branches would grow nice and tall for bouquets. And you see how tall those snaps are? That's what we like to see when we grow cut flowers. And my zinnias are just getting going. Again, some of these I snipped the central stem out of, some of them I didn't, because when you don't, you get some earlier blooms, but they are shorter. And then I'll cut that central stem off here, and then they will branch out and get nice and tall. Let me show you a different variety. So this is a queen lime orange. I just think they're so pretty. And this is what it looks like when it's just starting to come out. And this is a queen lime. So it's a greenish color. And I don't think the lighting this morning is doing it justice, but it is really pretty. And if you didn't know, one of the things I do here on a small farm is I sell cut flower bouquets. So that's why I have all of these cut flowers. Here you can see in the next row over, these are my pole beans, and they are really starting to climb up. Even the T-post, they're climbing up. So it's exciting. And my watermelon plants, they're really taking off. These will vine and go into the rows, but I try to corral them as much as possible so I don't step on them when I'm walking through here. So this is my marigold row. These ones are the Eskimo, which are supposed to be a white, but they're kind of a creamy white. They don't get more than a little over a foot tall, but these, the yellow and orange varieties, they'll get about 4 feet tall. And here I have my Rudbeckia Sahara, and I just want to show you how pretty these blooms are. And if you didn't see my previous video on the flower netting, I used this white mesh flower netting to help support the flowers as they get taller, because the wind can just blow them over and then destroy them. So by having the support, they stay nice and pretty. And this is my ageratum. It is actually a blue flower, and it's really pretty. It's just getting started. And my pepper plants are all getting tall. And then if you can see this little bloom, he's starting to die off and a pepper is starting to form. And then this whole row down here, I had trimmed these first several bushes probably a week before I finished the rest of the row, and they're already bushing out. I'm gonna have to come in here and thin some more of the leaves. But as you can see as we go down, these are the aromas for making sauce, and I'm going to sell a bunch in my farm stand, but they are looking good and healthy, and I've got them all staked. And just down at the end there's some bush beans and some basil. But that's just kind of an overview of what I've been doing this week. I have some more fun videos coming up. I'm going to be canning some beef and some chicken, as well as a fun little video on making some berry baskets. And if you're interested in that kind of content, I would love it if you would subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.